I've often wondered what a really manageable society would consist of, and I've got an answer, and I'm actually making a story about it. But in the current situation, I think it's good to point out that um, the policies of the people in power in the US at the moment and around the world, you could say, are to move towards a more manageable society. A manageable society is basically a low-tech society with uneducated people, with very little capacity to do anything, and you can easily control them with the technology that is available at the moment. And if you separate people from that technology by sufficient distance, then you'll be able to control the society and make it run the way it likes, let it play around. But of course, with a lot more, let's say, negative effects for the people in society, but basically you can create a free society like that. It's only not the optimal, technologically advanced society. So basically you can look at the current model of governance that is being pursued with the simple logic that bankers are farmers. That's the most safe way to implement their profession. Should not be speculators, they're not traders, they're just farmers. They basically have a plot with growing, let's say, value, and they reap that value. Well, farmers need cattle. They need, cows to grow in their fields. So they can slaughter them, eat them, get the milk, and all that stuff. Well, you are now, by the measures that are taken in the US, and I guess in Europe, becoming the cattle. You're going to be incapacitated. And that's a process. It's not done yet. It is underway. You can really read about it in the US. It is a very violent process in a way, because people's behaviors around the US are changed significantly. But it takes time. It takes time to incapacitate people, to impoverish them, to malnourish them, and to undereducate them. The last two have been, or the last three basically, have been policies of the Republican parties who, let's say, deem themselves the farmers of society, the ones that can profit from the cattle. This sounds very crude, but a separation between of capacities and behavioral options in two groups, where one has all the options and the other only has a limited number of options, can work. It is like taking care of your children, and I think that is of course the fantasy that many of the Republicans have, that they are taking care of the children, the undereducated, and that is, like, say, that's a benign incarnation of exactly the same mechanism as being an exploiter. One thing that has to happen to achieve it is you have to destroy the middle class. You have to destroy the bridge between the village and the castle. The middle class is too educated, is too assertive, is too powerful. Basically, it has been the middle class in most cases. Also, for instance, in the Dutch war against Spain, the middle class that started the war. It has not been the poor people rioting. It has been the people with power, but without the supreme power, that have stood up to protect their freedoms, because they understood where they could go on the low end, and they understood that on the high end it's just a choice. It's just you have to fight for it. But of course this whole process takes time, but when it's done, it's done. When you are, let's say, you enter Ivory Coast or some African country where they barely can read, then you know that you can control that population with some guns and a tank and some ammo. It's easy. And then it's done, especially when you have satellites and that kind of stuff. There's no way back for those people. There's no way to crawl up into the castle. It's just impossible. And of course the moat will be made wider and wider, and it's already very wide because you are not supposed to have any understanding of banking. It's way too complex. While banking is basically administration of numbers. Everybody can do it. You know, if somebody else can do it, then you can do it. That should be your thought. But this video is mainly about telling you that this is the process, which is because bankers are farmers, farmers need cattle, you are the cattle. And it takes time, so you can still do something about it.